In 2023, we commissioned only one ship, as I said, and the second ship we commissioned just recently. In that period also, since it's a transition from road-based to truck, the ship-based movement, obviously there will be it takes time. I mean, from one particular system, you are moving into completely a new system. So there will be people need to get convinced of the reliability and the methods and all. So it took some time actually transitioning. In fact, initial months we were doing only three trips in a month. That too with only 50% loading. That too, now we are almost, the first ship we are doing 10 trips with full capacity. So we have a capacity to transport around 90 million liters. Right now we are doing around 40-45 million liters per month. As I said, we just commissioned the second ship this month. So we hope to move on at least to achieve by 90% by end of this year. With that, at least we can transition the trucks which were otherwise were moving in the Jinja road can actually move for the secondary transportation from here to the retail outlets. So that process is now, you can say, on. Yeah.
You have the road. I don't know why it's taken time. Do you think it's also a factor? Maybe why you don't have more trucks come through to?
Yes, that's one of the impediment, of course, with some of the oil majors, basically, because they would like to have a much safer and perfect road. The government has moved, in fact, in right earnest in providing the road, but because of some legal issues which have come up on the actual ownership of the land which is being acquired. Because the existing road, the mud road is very narrow, which need to be expanded into a double lane, for which there is some land acquisition that has to happen. Even the entire process is finalized. Now only the issue has come up where the ownership has now went into rough weather, where people has moved into courts actually to determine the ownership. So that is where actually the hindrance has come up. Now what I understand is UNRWA along with the ministry has approached the courts and agreed on they will deposit whatever the compensation amount to the court. Court can actually dispense that amount to the rightful owners whenever the case is decided. Hopefully I think that should move now. Since that impediment is now resolved, now only thing is the government has to release the funds. I mean, both the projects. Yeah. I am called Dinesh Donadi. I am the CEO of Mahati Infra Uganda Limited. I started off here as a project manager for building up this entire infrastructure project. Now I am moving on to take over the business part of it. Coming to the project, as I said, we envisage to have three basic elements of the project. One is the storage facilities and handling facilities, which you see behind. And the other one is the jetty, where you berth the ships actually to unload the products. And the third element is basically building the ships. From that perspective, the terminal is ready, commissioned and functioning. with all the tanks, pipeline, instrumentation, all other systems in place, even firefighting systems, everything. The jetty is completed already. Vessels are berthing and unloading that thing. Ships, actually our entire project scope was having 4 ships. Out of that, now we have built 2 ships because the space constraints here. We had only the space enough for building 2 ships, which now are built and commissioned. Our now the efforts will be to stabilize these 2 ships and then move on building building 2 more ships, which most probably will be doing it in the starting off in the first or second quarter of next year, 2025. We now want to stabilize on the liquid cargo, one thing. As we work on, because I told you there is a space constraint here for building 2 more ships, which we will be doing it immediately next year. Then immediately after that, our plan is to expand it and move towards the container cargo, which may actually synchronize well with your SGR, completion of SGR in both sides, Tanzanian side and the Kenyan side. So our efforts also will be there to synchronize with that so that we can pick up these containers and move them to this place, which will greatly really save on the transportation costs in many things.
We are here as part of the long journey that we started through the inspection of the Northern Corridor projects in Kenya, and then we also went to the Albertine region. Now we are here in Kawuku to check on the facility, one of the modern facilities that has been put up here in Uganda to ease the transportation of petroleum products and help bring down the pump prices of petroleum products in this country. This time, you know, Uganda, one of the major economic activities that Uganda government is working on is how best to transform the oil sector. So a lot of work is being done in the Albertine region, and also there's been challenges with pump prices. So with the opening of this facility here, we now have easy transportation of oil products coming all the way from Mombasa to here via Kisumu, and then these help to save the roads in terms of wear and tear, and then also they help to stabilize the prices because somehow it is a little bit cheaper compared to the products that are transported by the road. Being done here is wonderful. When we were in Kisumu, I thought Kisumu had the best facility for oil products and storage, but then what I'm seeing here is far better than what we saw in Kisumu, and I'm told it is one of the best in the region. To me, this is a blessing to our country, and it will help to stabilize the supply of petrol products in the country, and it will go a long way in trying to bring down the cost of fuel products at the pump, because when the supply is adequate and there is no scarcity, then it helps to mitigate the practices of the people who hold on to fuel, to cause scarcity of fuel in the market and then to spark prices. But the moment we have reliable storage facilities, and the moment we have regular and ready supply, then the prices will also stabilize, and the people who speculate in oil in order to destabilize the prices will be done away with.
In regard to the 23 presidential strategic guidance and directives, do you think Lake Victoria Logistics is moving towards the agenda?
Well, the presidential directives, Directive 8 is to devote to just have the oil of Uganda, the license is given, and then the oil extracted, and Uganda becomes a oil producing country. That one, I think, we are doing very well. We're on track, and we are very grateful with the Minister of Energy. The Minister of Energy and through UNOC, they're doing quite a good job to ensure that the oil sector in Uganda is stable. And the developments we saw in the Albertine area, and the kind of commitment and collaboration and synergies that we see along the oil sector, I think they speak to that directive, and we see a lot of positivity in that direction.
This storage facility has enough space to accommodate the amount of to sustain the country.
It has enough space, and it still has room to expound on the storage capacities. You have heard that the vessels that they now have 2 vessels, but one vessel can do it can do 10 times in a month. It can get to Kisumu and back. It can do 10 routes in a month. And they told you that once the fuel that the vessel carries on the lake to here, it puts off 150 trucks off the road. So now, once the facilities here are fully stocked, we are told that this fuel can take the country for close to a month without having scarcity of fuel. So to me, I think this is a very good facility, and again, it has the capacity to hold fuel that is adequate really to meet Uganda's demand.
The CEO cited raised the concern of transportation in regard to distance. How would you intend to
The
transportation is an issue?
transportation on the lake, or
Sorry?
transportation on the lake?
I think on the road.
Yeah, the more vessels they get on the lake, the easier it will be to transport oil to here. They now have 2 vessels, and they are looking forward to constructing other 2 vessels. So the moment they get 4 vessels, and each vessel can do 10 routes in a month to and from Kisumu, I think we shall not have issues to do with scarcity of oil products in this country.
with those parameters, keeping those parameters in mind, and this entire project has come up. One is the expensive, I said. The second one is the road traffic congestion in the road. We see almost like Uganda consumes about 7 million liters per day. Plus you take another 5 million or something for the surrounding countries. So around 10 to 15, let's say even the very conservative figure of 10 million liters in a day, divided by 30 cubic meters each truck, you will see how many trucks moving on the road. It'll come to around 300 to plus trucks in a day with the heavy load. So what is the amount of congestion, what is the amount of damage that it does to the roads, and the amount of pollution by way of actually exhaust. And then the other things, of course, is human contributed, like adulteration. Because it's a little difficult to control. I mean, this is not a phenomena which is here. It's a global phenomena. Even it is in advanced countries that happen. And since I have spent more than 30 years in oil sector, I know how big that problem is across continents. And the last point which I'm telling is the reliability of supplies. If you see any disturbance in anywhere, in any country, the first thing that gets affected is the road transportation. If you see, people try to block the roads so that that's more visible to everybody. So in fact, Uganda has faced this problem in the past also, when there was some disturbances and then fuel supplies were cut off. So we had acute shortages of fuel. Even why going back to that, even as recently as 2022 or 21, I think, when there was a restriction on free movement of vehicles because of COVID, the Ministry of Health has, first they were allowing, then subsequently as it was spreading uncontrolled, then they had to actually stop the vehicles there, test the drivers for the COVID, and they were asking them to stay till the result comes, which usually takes a day. On that time it used to take even much more. Now of course you have a lot of facilities, but that time it was limited. So there was almost at a particular point of time 70 to 100 kilometers is a pileup of trucks and all. And that particular period of time, there was again artificial shortage of product, and then in some places it went even up to $3 per liter. So that's inherently, if you depend upon only one sort of mode of transportation, that too a road, those are the problems which are going. So to counter all these disadvantages is what the idea came up, because lake is a big resource available for all the countries adjoining it. And in fact, even though the transportation on the lake was conceived and pushed by way back, almost a century back, it was for some time was going on, but that then for whatever reasons it slowly came down. But now I see there is a very lot of that invigorated like efforts from the government, for all the governments, in fact, surrounding to actually, as long as Mombasa port is operative, there is no issue. So the pipeline, through pipeline, the product will come up to Kisumu, because the entire pipeline is underground, and then it can run even in whatever conditions may be. And once it gets loaded into the ship, and again it's away from any disturbances for it to come and keep supply. So that's a reliability of supply is one of the key things that we can achieve by this alternate mode. 1 million liters, jet fuel 8 million, and kerosene 8 million liters. And since we are putting up the facilities in this era of actually digital era, we have implemented a completely up-to-date terminal automation system. Kisumu KPC, when they were there, their MD and all was telling the technical team to just see, note down all the things so that they can also slowly implement them. That capacity is, as I said, no, it is entire East Africa, it is not there. Forget about Kisumu. Even in Darussalam, you don't have in Nairobi, nowhere with this capacity. And even the firefighting system is completely automated. Like sitting in control room, I can start a sprinkler system on any tank. Like that, the whole system is again built to NFPA regulations, this is American regulations, and the completely system is oil water separation system. Like the tanks, it has its own bund walls. The loading area, it has its own drains. Pumping area, it has its own drains. All these points go with a controlled pipeline to oil water separator, where even traces of oil get